Support comes from the Seattle Rep, presenting Freak the Mighty, a world premiere musical from the Tony Award-winning producers of Come From Away. Based on the beloved novel by Rodman Philbrick, this heartwarming story of friendship, resilience, and growing up follows two outsiders whose bond transforms their lives. On stage starting July 30th. Tickets at seattlerep.org.
I'm Chris Morgan, host of The Wild. Over the last 35 years, I've worked in the wildest places on Earth, tracking tigers in Siberia, filming orangutans in Borneo, following humpback whales, migrating jaguars, iridescent hummingbirds, and learning from the people devoted to protecting them. These stories changed how I see the world. I think they'll do the same for you. The Wild with Chris Morgan, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Meet Me Here, KUOW's Arts and Culture podcast. I'm Jeannie Yandel, and I think I might be the first person to say it this summer, but our days are officially getting shorter. We have just passed the summer solstice, so this means every day for the rest of the year, nighttime comes just a few moments earlier. Now, my fellow sun lovers, please do not fret. We are still getting like 16 hours of daylight every day in June, but there still is something really special about late night hours, what it feels like, what's available to you. And we've been talking about that all month, what it looks like to be a night owl in Seattle, what the connections are between art, culture, and the night. Throughout this episode, we'll hear some night owl stories from friends of the show, and first and foremost, we're going to hear some stories from my Meet Me Here co-hosts, Katie Campbell and Dyer Oxley. Hello, you two.
Hello.
Hello.
Or should I say hoot hoot?
I'm so glad you said that, Katie, because I'm wondering if you guys consider yourselves night owls, or are you just an owl?
I definitely am a night owl, and probably an owl, too. I do love an owl. Not necessarily in the way people might immediately think of night owls. Like, I'm not necessarily out and partying and having fun and, like, doing stuff only at night, but I am notoriously a bad sleeper, and I have a really hard time getting to sleep, staying asleep. So I am often up with a book. Surprise, surprise. I love to have a book in my ear late into the night. There's just something relaxing and calming. I usually kind of set a little timer on myself so that I eventually drift to sleep.
Katie, you said you love a book in your ear. You're talking about audiobooks?
Yes, I love an audiobook. They're so fantastic, and sometimes they are perfect for getting me to sleep, and other times they're perfect for keeping me up all night long, which happened to me just last night, actually. I was like, I'm going to start this book, and maybe it'll help me, lull me to sleep. No, I was up till 2 a.m. listening to this thing, so...
I have got something for you.
Oh, no.
It's a podcast. It's called Game of Drones.
No.
And it's for anybody who has trouble getting to sleep. A guy literally just regurgitates Game of Thrones episodes at you in an even more boring manner than you are assuming right now. He's just, so then, they took the sword out. And you got a problem going to sleep and going... Problem solved, Katie. Yeah, this isn't a riveting book.
This is rapidly turning into an insomnia episode.
Yeah.
We're actually talking about wanting to stay up at night, which
I do.
You kind of wanted to last night.
Yes, because I wanted to listen to more of the book. That is my night owl activity.
Yes.
I know this about myself. I'm just really bad at breaking my bad habits.
Fair. That's fair. Dyer, how about you? I feel like this is a tough question for you because you have a baby.
Not really. I've come to a conclusion during this series of episodes, which I will get to. However, night owl, yes, it's always been out of necessity because I don't really have a choice. I'm so busy during the rest of the day. This is the time I get to do stuff.
Yeah.
However, I've crunched the numbers, and I'm going to try to become an early morning person because I believe there are far fewer people out and about and awake during that time, and that level of isolation is just very attractive to me. And so I feel like I'm going to try. My grandpa was one of these folks. He was a poet, and that's when he would get up and he would do his stuff, and it was like 4 a.m. in the morning. And I never understood that, but I think I get it now.
I think you could argue that 4 a.m. is still nighttime, though.
I agree
especially in winter.
If I am up at 5, it is that I've had an extremely late night.
Before going to bed.
Yes.
Okay.
But as the former Morning Edition producer here at KUOW, I don't actually encourage this behavior. Dyer, don't do it.
Fair.
Yeah, Jeannie, what about you?
I think by nature I'm a night owl. If left to my own devices and away from when I'm most expected to do things, which is during the daytime, I will stay up late and I will sleep late. But that's not what the world is set up for. So I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out what it looks like to give myself night owl space when I can, and also respect what I need to do during the day, which doesn't necessarily mesh well with the tendencies that I have to stay up. And I live with night owls. My spouse is a musician, is out, stays up until 2 a.m. all the time. My kid, if left to her own devices, would probably stay up all night. So we're just a mess. Do you think there's any connection between nighttime and creativity? I feel like I've talked with several folks this month who tie the two together for all kinds of different reasons. I mean, Dyer, you were talking about that being the time that you can do the stuff you want to do.
I think the key factor I'm thinking of here is isolation. Mm-hmm. And that expresses itself in a couple of ways. One is, you are alone. You get to do the things that you want to do the whole time you want to. Like, I remember an old article about President Obama and why he was a nighttime person. It was like no one would bother him at that point, and that's when he got stuff done. Tesla was the same way. However, I'm also thinking of folks like when you're out at night and everything else around in the world is just, darkened out, and you are isolated even with other people in like a coffee shop. I mean, that's when I think this creativity happens, when you don't have someone barking in your ear to go do this thing or get this job done or whatever. When you're able to just get down and focus. This could happen in the morning. This can happen at night. But nighttime is more conducive to it. I feel like it's just in our genes to do it. This is why we were around fires back in the day and telling stories. So that's when we huddled around and we got around, and that is the time for us when we just focus in on something. I think that is nighttime.
I love this. And Katie, this makes me think of you and sort of your sleep patterns and having trouble sleeping. There's a lot of research that indicates that until fairly recently, sleep consisted of like 4 or so hours, from early evening to later in the evening. And then you'd get up, you'd read, you'd do some creative project, you'd have that time and space to yourself, and then you'd go back to bed.
Whoa.
It's only like sort of, I think early 20th century is when we started doing this thing where we had to get a full 8 hours at night, unbroken, to sort of fit with like the work schedule.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what do you think? What's the connection between creativity and nighttime?
I mean, for me, the fire that Dyer is like evoking here makes me again think of kind of spooky, shadowy things. It's like a time where you can see between the lines of reality. Like the shadows will speak to you. You can see and hear and imagine things that aren't there. And in the same vein, I think, especially when I'm just like exhausted, I haven't slept well for a couple of nights, I enter this fugue state where my brain doesn't want to shut off in like kind of a great way. Yeah. And like, I think you're less likely to interrogate some of the more creative things that come through your brain. Something that might seem ridiculous and uninteresting during the day when you've had a good night of sleep. You might be more willing to like pull the threads of an odd idea. I think I used to do this a lot more when I was younger, when I lived alone, when I felt not so bad about like turning a light on, grabbing a notebook. I actually, a fun fact about me, I hand wrote a book when I was in middle school. Don't worry, you can't go find it. I never followed through with this, but I did some of my best writing through the middle of the night. Writing by hand. I still have a little bump on my finger from holding a pen for hours on end. But it was a time where I felt at my most free to just have wild ideas.
Oh,
yeah.
Katie Campbell.
Hi, I'm Chloe King. I'm a painter. I'll be in the studio for a regular amount of time until like 6 p.m. And then I start thinking, oh, hey, I could finish this. And then all of a sudden it's an endurance sport and I'm racing to the finish line and I'm tripping over buckets of paint. There's, just like stuff spilt all over the floor. But somehow in that beautiful, beautiful 2 a.m. period of time, I feel like a genius. I feel on top of the world. And so as I brush on the last few highlights and spray in a few more shadows and take that last layer of tape off of my canvas to reveal the full image, I listen to my victory song, which is Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons song, The Night. It's when I feel most me and the best me I can be. And very ironically, it's the me no one ever sees. And I love it. And that's why I think I'm a night owl.
Katie, what is it about nighttime that you think makes your writing so good?
I think daytime me shuts the heck up, basically. Like, I find that I have less of a critical voice in my brain saying, like, I feel that I'm more willing to just kind of enter the flow state and just write. Yeah. And I can leave the criticism for a more awake me. And sometimes not. And sometimes I can just roll with it and just kind of let it be like the night version of myself.
Oh, I love that. That really leads nicely into what I was wondering about with both of you is, you know, whether there is something that you've created at night that you feel particularly strongly about, even if it's sort of strongly in such a way that you're never going to let another person see it. In your case, Katie. Dyer, what about you? Is there anything that you have made or created at night that's particularly memorable for you?
I've worked in radio stations and I have done a fair share of podcasting. And that's all because everywhere I've worked, when people leave the office building, they leave all their studios unattended, and there's all these toys you can play with, and that's what I did. I mean, there have been nights I've been up at like 2 a.m. in the morning just doing podcasting work and stuff, and a lot of making a lot of mistakes, a lot of like bad stuff that I created, but because I made the bad stuff at 2 a.m. at a radio station where nobody is looking, I got to have a lot of fun, and I got to learn how mics and editing and there's a lot of creativity you can do with audio.
Dyer, I'm so glad you said that, because the thing that I think about the most that I made at night is a podcast episode during the height of COVID with my nephews and my daughter. And it was called, The Coronavirus Diaries, COVID Stinks, or something like that. Awesome. And it was just bananas. Like, these 3 kids under 10. It was the goofiest, most delightful. I had so much fun.
Is there anything else any of you want to say about this pandemic that you want the world to know?
Wait, we're sending this out to everybody in America? Because I kind of got that message.
It sucks, but it will be over, I think.
This isn't gonna last forever. You know that, right?
Yeah, not forever. You can still make homemade nachos and chicken wings.
I stayed up all night once to edit it, not because anybody was like, I wasn't going to share it with the world, but it was just so fun to mess with it.
Yeah.
And I still think about that.
There's something also that happens at night, too, when you're doing creative stuff, that your brain kind of slightly breaks a little bit.
Yes.
And like a leaf falls off a tree and you, for some reason, think that's the funniest thing you've ever seen. And it makes no sense during the day. There's absolutely no sense.
Right.
But you do that stuff and then somehow that just works the next day. You would have never done that during the day.
And I was going to say, like, kids, too, past their bedtime are hilarious. Like, I think back to, like, sleepovers as a child. And, like, I don't know why, but we would eat, like, Cool Ranch Doritos. And it was like we were drunk. And it was just the excitement of having a snacky food and your friends are there and you're up at 3 a.m. But you just, like you said, Dyer, the slightest thing just makes you break down into giggles. I feel like that's especially true with kids. Like, kids after dark, like, that is your time to be your silliest self. Like, it's the purest form of childhood.
I would talk for a million years about how goofy kids can be at night. But coming up after the break, we hear from artist Shin Yi Pai about her most memorable night owl experience in Seattle.
Support comes from the Seattle Rep, presenting Freak the Mighty, a world premiere musical from the Tony Award-winning producers of Come From Away. Based on the beloved novel by Rodman Philbrick, this heartwarming story of friendship, resilience, and growing up follows two outsiders whose bond transforms their lives. On stage starting July 30th. Tickets at seattlerep.org.
Some of the world's biggest companies have brought jobs and wealth to the Seattle region.
That growth has come with some real pains, too.
There are these hotspots. Seattle has the potential to be one of those.
Tech people are getting replaced by AI, and you can't replace us with AI yet.
I'm Monica Nicholsberg.
And I'm Joshua McNichols. We host Booming, a podcast about the economic forces shaping our lives here in the Pacific Northwest.
We get into the stories that hit your wallet and our region. Listen now on the KUOW app or wherever you listen.
My name is Shinyi Pai. What does keep me up late at night, on some occasions, is working on different art or writing projects. The kind of art projects that I like engaging in late at night include working with needle and thread and making embroideries. I really enjoy the repetitive and ritual act of making a stitch and being able to see a thing materialize and unfold before my eyes, and find that very satisfying. My most memorable night owl experience in Seattle came about 10 years ago when I was working for the company Atlas Obscura, and I rented the Georgetown Steam Plant and produced a concert with the Seattle Phonographers Union, which include sound artists like Suzy Kozawa and Steve Peters. And we had to bring in a big generator to bring electricity to the building so that we could light up the interior while these amazing composers and sound musicians made music in a live environment, playing steam plant-like sounds to animate the place where we were. It was kind of magical.
I've been thinking a lot about what one of my guests said to me this month. She described Seattle's nightlife scene and being a night owl in Seattle as a small scene with a big heart. And which I thought was a really lovely thing to say, but it also indicates that, you know, we don't have like a huge banging nightlife scene, right? So I wonder, as like culture watchers and participators yourselves, do you think Seattle's a great place to be a night owl?
I think it depends. Okay, we have an imaginary person, Jane, and Jane's a party animal, and sure. Jane is looking to move to a party animal kind of city. I would not necessarily tell Jane to come to Seattle. I guess it depends on what stage in life Jane is, but I think if you... There are things to do at night. Like Drew and I, y'all heard this on a past episode. We went to see Rick Ross at the Seattle Symphony. That was a nighttime activity, I would say. And afterwards, you know, plenty of people were going out after that. I think it depends on what you're looking to do. My kind of night owl who is like staying in and reading and writing, or I really like to just like, I like to be outside at night, like a nice park, or being like by the water at night is lovely. Yeah.
Just the fact that I think we had to say it depends. That's our answer right there.
Yeah.
I will say this. If you want something happening in Seattle, do it.
Yeah, just do it.
There is nothing stopping anybody from doing anything. The folks that you spoke to on your podcast, Jeannie, they did it.
Yeah.
Right? The folks that are doing Slayer Fest in Seattle, they're Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they just did it. I used to host cosplay contest. I'm not a cosplayer. As part of another organization, I hosted cosplay contest. A bar was totally willing, said, yeah, come on, take over the space, bring folks in, get some judges. And if you want to host a debate club where everybody wears tutus, right? You can do that.
You can
or
totally
pajamas at night.
In exactly.
There's really nothing stopping you, and I guarantee you, if you go to any cafe, bar, restaurant that is open at night and say, hey, I want to try to find a way to flood your space with people so that we can do that, they will let you do it. I guarantee you. So if we want to have this question of Seattle is a nighttime city, it is. And you're the reason it is, so go out and do it.
Well, I'm so glad you said that too, Dyer, though you're the reason it is, because I think, too, the people who are quick to be like, Seattle's not a nighttime city. Y'all, it is a city. You can literally find anything in a major city if you look. If you feel like it's missing something, you're either not looking hard enough or you're not making it, like Dyer just said. Like, to be up late and having a good time. You do not have to be out and about. Like, money's tight too. Have your own thing then. Like, I've had plenty of those evenings with friends where you just like, I'll make charcuterie and everybody brings a little beverage to have and we all hang out and like, yeah, you can debate in tutus. I've always forgotten the tutus. That's on me. But like,
never again.
That tutu debate, that's a good idea. We should get KUW to, we should get on that, brand that.
Yeah, brand it. Tutus, KUW tutu debates.
Coming soon.
Tutu tets. Sorry.
We're going to have an amazing branding meeting after this. Dyer, I do think you make a really good point. I mean, I, for years, did storytelling shows and adolescent diary reading shows here in Seattle. The diary reading show is still happening. It's called Salon of Shame, where adults read excerpts from the diaries they wrote as kids and teenagers to an audience. And we found, you know, there are these like in-between spaces that are meant for people to spend time, right? It's not the showbox. It's not a big space. But, you know, they want those spaces to be activated. And we did Salon of Shame, and it still happens on Tuesday nights. And it's a sellout crowd every time.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of nighttime and creativity, Dyer, you did an entire episode where you looked at local night markets. And I wonder if you discovered anything new about nighttime and creativity.
I learned that you could buy crocheted houseplants.
Get out of here.
They're really cute.
They're really cute. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Oh my God.
So you want to talk creative?
Yeah.
Night markets themselves are creative endeavors. There is sort of an artistry to it. We spoke with the founder of the Lacey Night Market, a.k.a. the Sway Night Market. His name is Jason Huang, and he told us all about the food at the market. There are other vendors there, but he really does lean into the food. He said he'd never had Peruvian food before starting this night market. We recently went down to Lacey. I had some bibimbap from a vendor there. You name it, basic stuff like hot dogs, but food from all over the world, all present in this one spot. And then you've got the Tacoma Night Market. Leah Morgan is the founder of the Tacoma Night Market down there on South Tacoma Way. She's a glassblower. She is embedded in the artist community and wanted a home for that community, so she started this night market, and that night market is very, very unique unto itself. Sometimes they do glassblowing. There's karaoke. There's artists. Every time it is an experience exclusive to that night. You go up to Seattle, and Doc Wilson, he founds the Columbia City Night Market. Well, there's a mission. There's an economic mission for that one, to support and foster Black-owned businesses. Every single one of these are different, but they're all creative within their own endeavors.
Oh, I don't know what it is. I have emotions about this. I teared up a little hearing you talk about night markets, Dyer. And I think that's because what you're talking about is people making a conscious decision not only to create a space for culture to happen, for art to happen, but it's also a space where community can happen.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's just, I don't know, what is creativity if not like putting something in the world that didn't exist before, right? And the fact that there are these whole little ecosystems that exist in the summer at night at different places in Western Washington, they kind of fill me with civic pride. And that's why I was a little bit moved by that. Katie, what did you learn? This was like so you-coded. You talked to the folks at Fantagraphics for their 50th anniversary.
Yes.
And your whole mission for that episode was to evoke the feeling of hiding under the covers late at night reading a comic book.
Yes.
So what have you learned about creativity and nighttime in Seattle?
When we were talking about night owls and what it means to be a night owl as a team, I just immediately, it conjured that image of a kid under the covers past bedtime with the flashlight and a classic comic. And what's awesome is like, that is an experience that the people I talk to have all had. There is something so like Americana about that vision. I'm sure it happens all over the world, but it just feels like so in the culture in a really cool way. This idea of breaking the rules for the sake of words is like really gorgeous to me as like a total book nerd. And the stories that we are drawn to after dark, I think say a lot about like human creativity and psyche. There's something really beautiful about like hungering so much for something, so much for art and again, words and stories. It's so part of childhood. Again, like Kids After Dark are hilarious. Kids who are overtired, who are insisting on staying up for the sake of something. It's usually creativity, right? It's either playtime or reading just one more book before bed. Like that is just so flippin' beautiful to me.
Okay, we've talked about so many different aspects of this, which I really, really love. But I'm wondering if you all maybe want to take a moment and try and convince a listener to try something at night in Seattle that maybe they've never done before. Dyer, I feel like you made an excellent case for night markets. Is there anything else you'd like to recommend?
I got 2 things for you.
Okay.
One is something that I thought maybe we should have covered in this series. We didn't get to it, but pub trivia is a whole world unto itself. But it is such a fun and good time. You always learn something, and I never want to hear anybody say, "Oh, I'm not smart. I don't." That's not the point of going to pub trivia, right? And any pub trivia team, at best, has one smart friend. The other point of going is you come up with a funny name and ridiculous answers, and you just hang out. The second thing that I want to recommend, this is my favorite thing to do, and it's super cheap. Sometimes it doesn't cost you anything. In Seattle, after midnight, if you take any ferry out of Seattle, you will see the funniest looking people you have ever seen. It is the perfect time. It is the perfect time for people watching.
Oh my God.
If you've never gone out of Seattle on Halloween night and witnessed Iron Man passed out and drooling on like a bench somewhere, it is just some of the best that you will hear people talking about some of the greatest stories, and they don't care who hears them at all. This is ideal people watching time, and it can only happen after midnight.
Not me thinking you were going to wax poetic about like the skyline and the shimmering water.
And the moon will be shimmering over, and if it's during the summer warm months, you might have that phytoplankton doing bioluminescence throughout the water with an electric blue sheen across the sound. Anybody else wish we had Vincent Price for this episode talking about the spookiness?
Yes.
I don't have anything to throw at Dyer, but I want something. Katie, what is your recommendation?
Okay, I'm hopefully going to be a little unexpected as well. I'm going to advocate, and this is for all of our like elder millennials, everyone over, let's say 35 or over 30 even, who's like, I'm too old to go out anymore. I can't relive my youth. Go relive your youth in Capitol Hill. Just once. This was something that Drew and I did a few years ago. We had a whole night out that went way later into the night than we ever intended. We ended up at Unicorn at one point, but we had such a great time. A little too much fun, I'll say. We went a little crazy, but it was a blast.
Can I just say I love this recommendation?
Thank you.
It is, no, I encourage everybody to do this. Can I amend it with slightly?
Please, yes.
Do everything Katie just said, and afterward, please get on a ferry out of Seattle.
And watch everybody go home.
I love this.
No, so we can watch you.
Katie Campbell and Dyer Oxley are the co-hosts of Meet Me Here, along with me, Jeannie Yandel. And we will have all the recommendations we made in our show notes. And we want to send a special thank you to artists Chloe King and Shinyi Pai for sharing their night owl stories with us. Thank you both. Thanks for listening to Meet Me Here. Meet Me Here is produced by KUOW, a proud member of the NPR network. It's hosted by Katie Campbell, Dyer Oxley, and me, Jeannie Yandel, and it's produced by Kyle Norris, Brandy Fullwood, and Matt Martin. Phyllis Fletcher is our editor. You can find out more and support the show at kuow.org/meet. And if you're enjoying Meet Me Here, let us know. Rate and review the show wherever you listen. It really helps. If you have an arts and culture event you want to tell us about, email us at arts@kuow.org. That's arts@kuow.org.
Support comes from the Seattle Rep, presenting Freak the Mighty, a world premiere musical from the Tony Award-winning producers of Come From Away. Based on the beloved novel by Rodman Philbrick, this heartwarming story of friendship, resilience, and growing up follows two outsiders whose bond transforms their lives. On stage starting July 30th. Tickets at seattlerep.org.
On the latest Sound Politics, Washington Senator Maria Cantwell makes a big play by partnering with Texas Republican Ted Cruz on the Protect College Sports Act. How did this so-called crisis in college sports get so bad it's bringing together two of the least likely allies in Congress? And can sports, maybe, heal a polarized nation? We explore that on the latest episode of Sound Politics. Find us on the KUOW app or wherever you get your podcasts.